Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down the story behind one of the absolute titans of sports, Cristiano Ronaldo.
In my mind, I am always the best. You know that one quote right there? It's pretty much the key to understanding the insane self-belief of one of the most dominant athletes in history. But the real question is, where did that belief even come from?
Because this journey from a really difficult reality to a global myth, well, it was anything but guaranteed. The icon we all know today was once an impoverished kid. The perfect athlete was actually diagnosed with a heart condition that almost ended his career before it started. And the born winner? Yeah, his childhood friends nicknamed him Crybaby because he'd literally cry whenever he lost a game.
Okay, so let's dive into his beginnings, because the odds were stacked against him from day one. So, let's paint a picture. Ronaldo was born on the pretty remote Portuguese island of Madeira. He was the youngest of 4 kids, and his family was dealing with extreme poverty. I mean, they all shared a single room. His mom, who was a cook and a cleaner, even thought about having an abortion because she just couldn't see how they could afford another child. And if that wasn't enough, at just 15 years old, his dream almost died. He was diagnosed with tachycardia, a racing heart condition. It was so serious that he needed high-risk laser surgery on his heart just for the chance to keep playing.
And then, you get this moment that sounds like it's straight out of a movie. In a final youth trial for Sporting Lisbon, the scout made it simple. Whoever scores the most goals gets the one and only academy spot. Ronaldo's friend, Albert Fantrao, gets a breakaway. He's one-on-one with the keeper. An empty net is waiting, but instead of taking the glory for himself, he passes the ball to Ronaldo, who scores. That single act of friendship secured his spot, and honestly, it changed the course of football history.
So that one break, it's what gets him to Manchester United. And this move to England's biggest club would be the crucible that turned all that raw talent into an absolute global force. After just one preseason game, the legendary manager Sir Alex Ferguson was so blown away he insisted on signing the 18-year-old on the spot. And he didn't just sign him, he immediately gave him the club's most iconic, most pressure-filled jersey, the number 7.
But the transformation wasn't instant. Not at all. He showed up as this skinny show pony, all these fancy tricks but not much substance, and it drove his teammates crazy. Ferguson pushed him relentlessly, forcing him to cut the nonsense, focus on scoring goals, and, this is crucial, to completely transform his body. He became obsessed, adopting this fanatical diet and training regimen, doing thousands of sit-ups a day, just to build himself into a physical powerhouse.
Then, right as his career was really starting to take off, a personal tragedy struck that would forge that legendary mentality we all know. In 2005, his father, who had struggled with alcoholism for a long time, passed away from liver failure. This moment, it changed everything.
And you can see the impact right here. It is just staggering. After his father's death, his focus became absolute. You can see his goal numbers just explode, jumping from an average of about 7 or 8 a season to 23, and then a mind-blowing 42 goals in the 2007-08 season.
That incredible season led Manchester United to win both the Premier League and the Champions League, and it earned Ronaldo his very first Ballon d'Or, officially crowning him the best footballer on the entire planet.
So now, let's jump to his time in Spain. He joins Real Madrid for a world record fee, and he has one singular, monumental mission.
And that mission was to dethrone what a lot of people still consider the greatest club team ever assembled, Pep Guardiola's Barcelona, led by his new arch-rival, Lionel Messi.
What happened next was, well, it was maybe the greatest individual rivalry in the history of sports. This table just says it all. It was a decade-long war for supremacy, all visualized by the race for the Ballon d'Or. For 10 straight years, the winner was either Ronaldo or Messi. And in 7 of those years, the other guy was the runner-up. Just incredible.
It was in Madrid that he really earned the name Mr. Champions League. His whole game evolved again. He went from being a tricky winger to just a clinical, ruthless goal poacher in the penalty box. The entire club was obsessed with winning La Decima, their 10th title, and Ronaldo delivered it. Then he led them to an unprecedented 3 championships in a row, becoming the competition's all-time leading scorer along the way.
All right, but the later stages of his career, they were something else entirely. We're talking incredible highs, but also some really deep lows and a ton of controversy.
In this period was a total roller coaster. There's no other way to put it. You have these unbelievable highs, like captaining Portugal to their first ever major trophy and making that emotional return to Manchester United. But then you have these profound lows, the unimaginable tragedy of losing his newborn son, followed by a complete professional collapse as his relationship with the new manager at United just fell apart.
The whole thing just boiled over and came to a head in this bombshell interview with Piers Morgan. He went on TV and publicly said he had no respect for the manager, Erik ten Hag. That act of defiance was the final straw, and it led to his contract being terminated immediately, basically ending his career in top-flight European football.
So after that dramatic exit from Europe and a move to Saudi Arabia, how is he going to be remembered? What's the legacy?
Look, when it comes to his legacy, you have to start with the numbers. And the numbers, well, they just don't lie. He's the only player to ever be the top scorer in the top leagues of England, Spain, and Italy. The first player to score 5 different World Cups. And, most importantly, he is the all-time leading goal scorer in the history of men's professional football. The stats are undeniable.
But check this out. This number right here is maybe the most mind-blowing stat of them all. Cristiano Ronaldo scored over 440 goals after he turned 30. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that is more goals than Wayne Rooney, the second highest scorer in Premier League history, scored in his entire career. Just think about that.
But you know, beyond all the goals, the trophies, and the records, maybe the final question is about his mindset. That unwavering, almost unbelievable self-belief that took this impoverished kid from a remote island and turned him into a global titan. After everything else fades, will that be his greatest legacy?